cold and lonely. Stand by your man and show the world you love him. Keep giving all the love you can. Stand by your man.
Little types of darkness stuff, and then we're going to go straight into candles. Yep. So there's a Gardavana in. Is there a Gardavana?
Words you are saying, it brings memories when I was a trustful wife. It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, as you said in the words of your song. Too many times married men think they're still single. That has caused many a good girl to go wrong. It's a shame that all the blame is on us women. It's not true that only you men feel the same. From the start, most every heart that's ever broken was because there always was a man to blame. It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, as you said in the words of your song. Too many times married men think they're still single. That has caused many a good girl to go wrong.
I rushed home from work like I always do. I spend my whole day just thinking of you. When I walk through the front door, my whole life was changed. 'Cause nobody answered when I called your name. A note on the table that told me goodbye said you'd grown weary of living a lie. Oh, your love has ended, but mine still remains. But nobody answers when I call your name. Oh, the lonely sound of my voice calling is driving me insane. Just like rain, the tears keep falling, but nobody answers when I call your name. Oh, the lonely sound of my voice calling is driving me insane. Just like rain, the tears keep falling, but nobody answers when I call your name. Oh, nobody answers when I call your name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dancing in the dark, middle of the night, taking your heart and holding it tight. Emotional touch, touching my skin, and asking you to do what you've been doing all over again. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Don't think I can keep it all in. I just gotta let you know what it is that won't let me go. It's your love. It just does something to me. sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your love. Better than I was, more than I am. And all of this happened by taking your hand. And who I am now is who I wanted to be. And now that we're together, I'm stronger than ever. I'm happy and free. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Don't think I can keep it all in. And if you ask me why I've changed, all I gotta do is say your sweet name. It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your I can keep it all in. I just gotta let you know what it is that won't let me go. It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under,
love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Well, it's a long straight road, the engine is deep. I can't help thinking of a good night's sleep, and the long, long roads of my life are calling me. Yeah, these ruffled hands are glued to the wheel, my eyes full of sand from the way they feel, and the lights coming over the hill are blinding me.
It's a long time home from away down south. A man's gotta find a little bread for his mouth, and a home for a girl as sweet as my honey can be. So it's down through the gears, she's a starting to pull. Gauge on the tank is a showing me a fool, and the lights coming over the hill are a blinding me.
Well, there's rain on the road, and I can feel the load start shifting in a dance.
Too late, I see the posts, and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh, no.
The windscreen wipers are a beating in time. The song they're singing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe this is really happening to me. So it's over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain when the lights on the hill were blinding me. was standing by my window on one cold and cloudy day when I saw that first come rolling for to carry my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a treasure all waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
I said to that undertaker, please drive slow, for this lady you are carrying, Lord, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Oh, I followed close behind her, tried to hold up and be brave, but I could not hide my sorrow when they laid her in the grave.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
I went back home, my home was lonesome, missed my mother, she was gone.
All my brothers and sisters crying, what a home so sad and lone. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
We sang songs of childhood, hymns of faith that made us strong, ones that Mother Maybell taught us. Hear the angels sing along. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the
Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just one man. You'll have bad times and he'll have good times. that you don't understand. But if you love him, you'll forgive him. Even though he's hard to understand. And if you love him, oh, be proud of him. 'Cause after all, he's just a man. Are cold and lonely. Stand by your man and show the world you love him. Keep giving all the love you can. Stand by your man. About the wild side of life, as I listen to the words you are saying, it brings memories when I was a trustful wife. It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, as you said in your song. Too many times married men think they're still single. That has caused many a good girl to go wrong. It's a shame that all the blame is on us women. It's not true that only you men feel the same. From the start, most every heart that's ever broken was because there always was a man to blame. It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, as you said in the words of your song.
feeling that cannot be denied. Every time we look into each other's eyes, it's a heartbeat of love so strong. In your arms is where I belong. So let the dance begin with two wedding bands that show our true devotion. Let the bells ring, sounding out a melody of my love for you and your love for me. Out across city, land, and ocean, this is forever. Yeah, the love we share will weather storms and stand the test of time. Look at us now. Hey honey, we have each other, and each other is all we need. So let the dance begin with two wedding bands that show our true devotion. Let the bells ring, sounding out a melody of my love for you and your love for me. Out across city, land, and ocean, let the bells ring, sounding out a melody of my love for you and your love for me. Out across city, land, and ocean.
In times of darkness, love sees. In times of silence, love hears. In times of doubt, love hopes. In times of sorrow, love heals. And in all times, love remembers. May time soften the pain until all that remains is the warmth of the memories and the love. We're going to begin our service today with a candle lighting ceremony. Wendy's daughters, Jodie and Kerry Ann, will be lighting the candles. Thanks, girls. Wendy, the first candle represents our grief. The pain of losing you is with us, and the flame of light will shine on our tears and warm us as we honour your life. Candle 2, the second candle represents courage, that which lay in your life, and the strength we will give each other in our loss. The third candle we light for memories. It celebrates your human journey with us, the times we laughed and cried together, the gifts that you gave us and to others, and those we gave to you, the hard times and the good, and the life that you invited in us all. And the fourth candle celebrates love. It shines forth in joy, and we know that love never dies. It goes on from person to person and adds to the life of the universe in delight. Thanks be to you, Wendy. Your love still surrounds us all. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come together today in remembrance of a very special person in our lives, Wendy Faye Butler Wiseman, a selfless, kind and generous woman who left our lives last Tuesday and will be missed by us all. On behalf of her adoring husband Jeff, loving daughters Jodie and Kerry Ann and their families, I welcome you and thank you for joining them here today. I also welcome all of those that are viewing online as they were unable to be present. The kindness of friends and relatives who have stood by the family during this difficult time is much appreciated and will be consolation to them later during the inevitable moments of grief and emptiness. The family warmly invites you to join them at the South Burney Bowls Club after the service this afternoon to share your stories of Wendy and to support one another. Grief is a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness nor a lack of faith. It is the price of love. There are people who leave an indelible mark on your soul, an input that can never be erased. Wendy was one of these people. Grief is not a disorder or a disease. It is an emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity, the price you pay for love. The only cure for grief is to grieve. It will be the little things that you remember, the quiet moments, the smiles, the laughter. And although it may seem hard right now, it will be the memories of these little things that help to push the pain away and bring the smiles back again. It is hard to forget someone who gave us so much to remember. This funeral service has many purposes. Of course, it is for the reverent farewell of Wendy, but it also recognises and acknowledges the value of her life, and it confirms that life has ended. This service will help those remaining to face the reality of her death. No matter whatever the relationship you had with Wendy, her death has broken in upon it. Today, we have the opportunity to reflect on the hole that is left with the passing of a beloved wife, cherished mother and mother-in-law, adored nan-nan and great-nan-nan, loving sister, aunt, and dear friend to so many. A chance to remember how a spark of divine energy from a determined and strong woman made our world a better place. The hurt is almost unbearable, yet we will live through it. It is because we feel such deep pain, it is because the inner ache is so great that we realise how much we loved her. And yet the agony inside gives us strange comfort. It tells us how much we miss her, and we really would not want it any other way, because the grief and the heartache that we feel bears witness to the depth of our love. We know that thoughts of her will forever bring us comfort. Wendy was truly a beautiful person, inside and out. An energetic, hard-working woman, she lived life to the full, following the motto of never putting off till tomorrow what she could do today. Having fun in all she did, and always on the lookout for a new adventure. Wendy was incredibly caring and compassionate, as evidenced in all the roles she undertook in her 32 years working at Umina Park, where she truly loved the residents and their families, and they loved her. Always on the go, she gave generously of her time to local sporting clubs, was a great mate of Mr. Sheen and his trusty cloth, but more than anything, she loved her family deeply, cherishing every moment with them and always ensuring they had a great time when in her company. To hear more of this wonderful woman's life, I call upon her very dear friend, her cousin, Mr. John Earl, to present her eulogy. Thank you, John.
How do I sum up a beautiful woman's life in half hour like Wendy? Wendy and I were cousins. My mother and Wendy's father were brothers and sisters. I was one of 8 children, and I was raised by a widowed mother for nearly all their life, which I think made the family stronger. And even when the siblings grew up, got married, the bond was still there. We would often spend days at cousins' and uncles' place where we would listen to every Slim Dusty record that was ever recorded. We'd head off to Fernglade for picnics out of Fernglade. We'd go to someone else's place for a Sunday school barbecue where there would be, again, endless lots of songs that would be played. Food just kept coming, and I don't know how, but the Bogues beer just kept flowing all day, every day. So wonderful times. Wonderful times with the family. And so when Wendy got to about 9, 10 or 11, we would either spend time at her place at Sutton Street, or she'd be around at our place in Bird Street, where her and Helene and Mum would cook, and then of a Saturday they would listen to the radio and ring up for Cheerios and all that sort of stuff on the radio of a Saturday night. We was inseparable. We were just always with one another. Like any other kid in Burnie, we all spent every waking minute of the day of the summer at the swimming pool, where we enjoyed each other's company and there all the time. Family holidays with Faye and Sam was amazing. They would pack up Sam would have the trailer, he would pack up the caravan, put the tent on, load all the kids in the car. I don't know how it's all fitted, but they all got in and off they would go. They'd head away to their favourite places for a couple of weeks where they would set the tent up, go fishing and all that sort of stuff. To go with them a few times on these trips was amazing. Wendy's two brothers and their father could catch fish in a bucket. They was unbelievable. They could go down to the Arthur River and with Wendy and that down there with the through, and they could stand on the side of the river. They would catch fish after fish after fish, and people would walk up beside them. What do you got for bait? What are you doing? And they'd laugh and they'd be real, and people would get nothing. And that happened wherever they went. They all just had a great time. Wendy be there with them, you know, taking the fish off the hooks and all that sort of stuff. Just fantastic holidays they used to have when they went camping. And they all just camped up in the tent. Then later days they got the caravan and everything was good. So, yeah, so that was their trips. One of Wendy's favourite things to do was her dad, who worked at Motors, used to have to take some cars down to West Coast to deliver the cars. And one of Wendy's favourite things was Sam would come and pick her up. Off they go down the West Coast, and Wendy was special because she was with her dad going to West Coast in the cars down through there. So she loved all that. Then after a while they condensed their travelling to, they spent a lot of time at Crayfish Creek, which became one of their favourite places, and for many, many years that was where the go-to place for the camp was down at Crayfish Creek. So yeah, they loved all that. Now Wendy, as we all know, was a great sportsman. She played badminton, softball, basketball, volleyball. Later days she got involved in bowls after Kevin passed away. But she had a good friend by the name of Julie Butler. They played volleyball together, all this sort of stuff, went to high school and all this sort of stuff. And Wendy worked with a fella at the pulp, but his name was Kevin Butler. Yes. So they put two and two together, so Wendy would head down to Butler's to spend time with Julie, but Kevin always seemed to be there as well. So anyway, one thing led to another, and the romance blossomed. Then they got married. Then they moved to Melbourne for a couple of years, and then when they come back, they moved into a place in Elizabeth Street, right next to our Nana's place. Now, our Nana, our Christmas days were absolutely amazing at Nana's place, even though the family was very friendly, but Christmas Day, that was it. We'd get there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and sometimes there'd probably be 35 people at Nana's place. And I don't know how she did it, just on her own. And every kid got a present, and Nana had a house, had a big, long passage, and we thought it was huge, but when we saw it, when we grew up, it wasn't as big as we thought it was. And she had these big velvet curtains that used to hang in the middle of the passage. We'd shut all the doors, you couldn't see a thing. So we'd be sliding up and down this passage, and people would be jumping out of the curtains and all that sort of stuff. So, and then come tea time, as usual, all the kids got fed first, so, and like in would go, and then the adults would go and have their meal. So us kids, we'd be outside, and the adults had a barrelwood, so you used to, enjoy every Christmas day. And then Wendy and I watched our elder brothers when we saw that they was actually, having a few beers out of this barrel, and they was filling up some beer bottles that they'd hidden the day before. And so Wendy and I thought, well, that's something we should do too. So we went and had a few beers, and I think that's where we learned our taste for the lovely Bogues beer. So, so that was just one of the things of Wendy. Now, anybody that's ever been anywhere with Wendy knows how she used to love to clean a little bit. If anybody had been to her place, if your cosy hadn't been picked up 3 times and wiped underneath, you weren't playing. So she wiped under the cosy, she would wipe the table, she would wipe the kitchen bench, and that was just Wendy's, what she did. Talking to Jeff the other day, he said, and she still had the cleaning phobia forever and a day. He said, when we moved into the unit, Wendy would go and washed the wheelie bin out after it had been picked up. So anyway, that wasn't good enough. She'd sit there and she'd look up the block of units and she said, "Oh, I'll go and clean their wheelie bin while I'm going." So she'd, end of the day, she cleaned 7 or 8 wheelie bins up and down the block. That still wasn't good enough. So one day she went out and she washed her windows. She said, "Oh, look at that poor bloke, his windows need washing." So she went and washed his windows, and lo and behold, she was washing the whole block of the unit's windows. So that was Wendy. So Wendy, with our family, we had Anzac Day. It was a special day for the family, and Wendy and I and a few other relatives would head down to the dawn service down at Burnie, and we'd do the march and wear our respective parents' medals or photos and that sort of stuff. But Wendy's favourite thing when she got back after the march was to have the breakfast at the Burnie RSL Club, where she loved the lamb fry and bacon. And she would nearly be first there to have the lamb fry and bacon there. So after her and Kevin come back from Melbourne, and they lived in that unit in Elizabeth Street for a while, they eventually moved into Gill Place, which was a family home for many, many years. And the parties and the fun and laughter we used to have at Gill Place was sensational. Little Pippi was up there. He made the family complete, and but the stories and the music that was played there and the songs and the Charlie Pride songs we've sung out over years up in Gill Place is amazing. But the other day I heard a little story about Gill Place. Jodie, in the summertime, used to say to her mum, "It's nice and hot in the summer. Can I use that tent and sleep out in the back?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, rightio." So anyway, Wendy Wendy and Kevin put the tent up, and Jodie would go and sleep in this tent. Kerry Ann was awake up to what Jodie was doing. Kerry Ann thought, "There's something funny going on here." So anyway, both of them got in the tent one night, and sure as eggs, off they went when everyone was sharm, and they went off to a mate's place and played cards and had a bit of a party and whatever. And when they got home, just on daylight, they got home, they unzipped the tent, they'd sneak in to see, make sure no one was there. Here's Wendy and Kevin in the tent. Caught them out, no problem at all. But there's a moral to this story. We have a cousin, and she's the same age as Wendy, and she came up from Hobart, and she was staying at our Nana's place. So Wendy went. She thought, "Oh, that'd be good if I went round, make her feel welcome." So Wendy went round and stayed with her at Nana's place. Anyway, one day they went down town to do a bit of shopping and went to the beach, and don't know what happened, but they met up with some fellas, and anyway, they made their way home, and lo and behold, they snuck out the window. So the apple didn't fall far from the tree for all that sort of stuff. So, but camping continued with the girls, and they'd often go to Strawn or somewhere for camping. But as the girls told me the other day, if you ever wanted rain and you was a farmer, ring Wendy and Kevin up and say, "Come and park up my farm for a week." It rained and rained and rained, and most of their holidays they went to. In fact, it used to rain that much that Wendy bought a tumble dryer to put in the tent when they went down to Strawn. So here they are. So Wendy and Kevin and the kids have got this tent going, and there's a tumble dryer whirring away like anything. And end of the week, everybody bought their washer around to Wendy so they could get it dry. That's how wet it's been. So yeah. As we all know, Wendy loved the family, especially children, and she loved her grandkids, Jaden and Bailey, Jack, Lucas and Layla, and the fact that she's going to miss out, and like Archie's going to miss not having the love that her grandmother would certainly give her for years to come. Unfortunately, Kevin passed away after his illness in 2004, and Wendy was sort of joined the South Burney Bowls and made a lot of friends out through there. And as you can see by this room today, she's touched a lot of people. Then in 2014, this will throw you away. Wendy saw a mate that she knew that she used to work with at the pulp years ago, and she sent him a request on Facebook. So Jeff answered the friend request, and he said, yes, we'll be friends. And one thing led to another, and the way they went and blossomed, and lovely relationship. I spoke to Wendy about 18 months ago, and I said, when are you going to retire? I said, I've retired. I said, it's the best thing you can ever do. She said, oh, I like me work too much. I said, I'm going to miss all me patients and all me soulmates and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, she set up, and they finally retired, moved into their new unit, they even got Jeff in the bowl, so everything was going good. And then for the last 4 months, Wendy's life was deteriorated to no good. It was a shame to see such a lovely, vibrant lady to be how she was in the last 3 or 4 months. But as Wendy used to say to you, don't live for tomorrow, do it today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. You've summed her up beautifully. A family tribute. Kerry Ann, are you ready?
You're done. It's an honour to stand here to share my wonderful, precious memories and stories about our mother. I know we all have wonderful stories to share. She will be missed by all. Seeing the tremendous love and support here for our mum and family is humbling and inspiring. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to be here. Mum and Dad were so involved in our sports growing up, basketball, away games, and we always had carloads, and what fun that was with a sunroof. Then came volleyball rep teams, meant more weekends away, accommodation, off to Canberra. Jodie and I never missed out. Christmas times were lots of fun, always lots of wonderful gifts, full Santa sacks, and gifts from underneath the tree to be unwrapped, lounge room full of wrapping paper. Camping and caravanning were particular times when we went to Strawn. As John said, what an adventure, and somewhere new we went for a holiday. Set up camp at this particular caravan park at Strawn. By day 2 and 3, it was just pouring and pouring with rain. Everyone's bedding was wet, towels. Mum come to the rescue, unpacked the clothes dryer. It was going 24/7, saved the day, and everyone had dry bedding and towels again. Mum was always there to help with family weddings, from organising dresses to catering and even helping delivering babies. She wore so many hats and loved it. When I first told Mum and Dad I was leaving Tassie bound for Warrnambool, she came to me and said, I will pack your car. Just about everything in my car. She'd mentioned to me, don't open the door. Well, as you do, I opened it. And look, she had packed everything and even my ironing board. Yes, I know, I iron everything, just like Mum. Everything but not socks and undies. I still send pictures of my ironing piles to Mum and Jeff. And she tells me, separate it and just do one pile at a time. So then I get most of it done. How she got her name, Nan Nan? Well, can I say it's a Tassie thing? The two heads, Nan Nan. Everyone knew her in Coffs, Nan Nan. So when I mentioned that Mum had met this really nice guy and the kids and I were flying down to meet them, well, what's his name? They said, Jeff. Oh, Jeff. So it stuck to both of them. As I lived in Coffs Harbour, Mum was always there for Mark and I to help each time of the delivery of the children, Jack, Lucas and Layla. She would cut the cords and then her job was done. Then she would go to the house and clean from windows to skirting boards to bathrooms to wardrobes, and everything was just so polished, ready for us to come home. Mum just had her own special way with helping. As my children got older, Mum would be then jumping in the pool. All you could hear was sounds of giggles and Mum jumping in the pool, bombing and making splashes. So many great times. Jack, Lucas and Layla loved how Nan Nan would always have their afternoon tea waiting when they got home from school, on a plate with a popper and smiley faces made from Smarties. And they loved how Nan would always organise their wardrobes in her own special way. Mum loved cleaning my whole house, and I loved it too because it made her happy. Jeff, I have so much I could say, but I loved how you made Mum smile, and I loved how she lived life again. The day of your wedding, I remember all I could hear was Mum giggling. She was the child and I was the mother that day. I had never seen Mum so happy, and you cared for her to the end, and that melts my heart. My mum was my hero, leading me to right, forgiving and loving me, a star now so bright. My dear Mum, making my life so bright. I love you, Mum. Thank you.
Well done, Carrie Ann. What a beautiful mum you had and beautiful memories. Is there anyone else that would like to pay tribute to Wendy at this time? Of course, it can happen at the Bowls Club later on.
My sister, Wendy. I stand here still in shock and disbelief that you've been taken from us so soon. You gave all to your family, our family, and all of your friends. And this saddens me knowing you never had the chance to fulfil and enjoy your full retirement, as I was so pleased for you when I was told that you was retiring. Your passion and enthusiasm to take care of everyone in your life seen a very much deserved retirement. And Wendy, between all of your full-on life, you dedicated your time to take care of our mum and Lisa and all her home care needs for 11 years. Which just showed the love and care you had to give. As we all know, nothing was a problem for you. Mum always said that she appreciated everything that you'd done for her, but wish you would slow down a bit. I would say there's no chance of that, Mum. That's just Wendy. This was one of many hundreds of things that you've done. Showing why you had such an impact on the people around you. I will always remember the great times we all had together, our parties, get-togethers, at the homestead, picnics at Fern Glade, as John mentioned, and our caravan and camping trips. You, Wendy, being the life of the party, no matter where we were, making everyone laugh and smile, something you were good at. And over time, I think we've all missed that greatly. And that funny laugh you had would get us all. You're always playing tricks, mucking around. As one time, when I was staying at Mum's unit, you'd come over for tea, and at some stage you'd go into the bedroom and you'd place one of Lisa's fluffy toys on the pillow without me knowing. And when I'd go in there, you'd burst out laughing and say funny things. This is why I've left you your favourite colour fluffy toy with you, Wendy. With all the great times and memories of you, Wendy, I will treasure these forever. I can't comprehend why and won't say goodbye, only that I will see you again soon. Not soon. Again. I love you, my darling sister, Bemby.
To my darling sister Wendy, everyone knows you as a loving wife, caring mother, a best friend, a volunteer, a caterer, a sports person, a work colleague, a carer, and many other things. As a sister, you were the best, fun-loving, caring and hard-working, and you didn't like sitting for too long, always making sure we were looked after as big sisters do. Too much to mention all the things you've done and achieved. I could talk all day. By looking around in the presence of all the people in this room today, we know what kind of a person Wendy was. You have worked so hard, achieved so much in your life, and your caring hands have cared and given so much till they couldn't give any more. And just to thank you again for our special gift that I, Lisa and Peyton received only a few weeks ago, we will treasure for always. You have and always will be something very special and a very caring sister. Taken too soon, we love and you will be missed and in our hearts forever. Till we meet again, Wendy.
We now have the privilege to look at photographs of aspects of Wendy's life that have been collected from the family albums. The chosen songs to support these photos: Forever Begins Tonight by the McClimates and Mother by Casey Chambers.
Sometimes I wonder if you were an angel, would you fly? Would you fly? Or would you just hover right here by my side, keeping me warm And if you were a river, run dry, well, I'd sing you sweet by and by. All of the birds that land on my window sing your name, sing your name. When all of the time I am crying again about how much the sky likes to rain, when I should be singing your name. Mother, mother, won't fall from grace. Light her room with the lines on your face. And if you were a river, run dry, well, I'd sing you sweet by and by. And all of the flowers by the side of the road, they whisper your name while they grow. And if you were a river, run dry, well, I'd sing you sweet by and by. And if you were a river, run dry, well, I'd sing you sweet by and by.
I knew the moment I met you, my future finally found me, and it's true. The piece that was missing was you. I cried the day you asked me to be your wife. I couldn't imagine that my life would start with a kiss, and I do. As you drove me close, I catch my breath, and when we dance, we'll dance forever in each other's arms, stronger together. The day has arrived, start the rest of our lives side by without you, it's true. All that I needed was you.
What beautiful memories you have to cherish forever. Do not hurry with your grief. It does not help the journey. Walk slowly, pausing often. Do not hurry with your grief. Be not disturbed by memories that come unbidden. Swiftly forgive, and let Wendy speak to you those unspoken words. Unfinished conversations will be resolved by her. Be not disturbed. Be gentle with the one who walks with grief. If it is you, be gentle with yourself. Swiftly forgive. Walk slowly, pausing often. Take time, be gentle as you walk with your grief. Wendy will now take her final journey to the Burney Lawn Cemetery, where she will be laid to rest, taking husband Kevin with her. Please join the family for the interment or head straight to the South Burney Bowls Club to support them on their arrival. Would you all please stand?